Call to order the October 6, 2009 meeting of the Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission and announce that we have a quorum present. Item 2 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the September 1st, 2009 meeting. It was a long time ago. Do we have any comments, corrections, or notations, or anything for staff for the September 1st agenda? Not. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Karen, second from James to approve the September 1st, 2009 meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is the public hearing consent agenda plats. And item 3A is the final plat of Orchard Valley Estates Phase 5, Lots 1R and 2, Block A, a 3.1 acre tract zone local commercial located at the northeast corner of McGee Lane and Valley Ridge Boulevard. And item 3B is final plat of Louisville Town Crossing, Lots 6R-1 and 9R, Block A, a 14.22 acre tract designated light industrial located in the southeast quadrant of State Highway 121 and Josie Lane.
Each of the plats has been reviewed by staff, and neither has any variances, and they are consistent with their development standards, so we would recommend approval on both.
Okay. At this time, I'll open the public hearing on items 3A and B. Anyone wishing to speak for or against item 3A or B may step forward and do so at this time. If not, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Close public hearing.
Motion from Karen. Second from Bill to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Public hearing is closed.
Make a motion.
Sorry, I was going to ask a question first because I always have to think about these. On the consent agenda, do these go past this board, or are these destined for city council? I always forget that.
They only go to council if there's a variant,
Okay.
and you're making a recommendation on the variance. With ones that have no variance, you give the final approval.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve items 3A and B with no variances?
Make a motion.
Motion from Karen.
Second.
Second from James to approve items 3A and 3B. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is public hearing zoning. Item 4A is consideration of a release of deed restrictions on a 6.158 acre tract located at the northeast corner of Rockbrook Drive and Highland Drive, further identified as the Manors at Vista Ridge 2 in its entirety, formerly Lot 2A, Block A of Rockbrook Elementary School Addition. The request is being made by Churchill Residential, Inc., representing the property owners. Case number is PZ 20091012.
Occasionally, we have a situation where somebody wants to develop single-family homes, and they want to build something larger than the required minimums in the ordinance, but they want maybe a little smaller lot. So they ask for a zoning that will give them a little smaller lot or something, but they're still planning on building bigger units. And the council has, from time to time, accepted deed restrictions that are offered voluntarily to restrict the units to a larger size. The deed restrictions, once they're approved, once the council approves the zoning, the applicant files the deed restrictions at the courthouse, and they are with that property from then on. In this particular case, and this is only the second, maybe the third we've had like this in the last 20 or 25 years, the townhouses that the deed restrictions were to apply to were never built. The property sold and has been rezoned, part of it to office, part of it to medical district, and there will be no townhouses built on that zoning. If it's to go back to townhouse, they would have to go back through the whole process, and if there were deed restrictions offered then they could, in essence, put them back. But in order to not encumber the property with deed restrictions that really are not applicable anymore, the process requires that the property owner go through essentially the same steps as necessary for a zone change request, including public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission, sending letters to property owners, advertising it for council, and having the council give final consideration of it. We see no reason why the deed restrictions need to stay with the property. The property is no longer zoned for single-family residential. And so we would recommend that you all recommend approval of removal of the deed restrictions, and we'll forward it on to the City Council.
Okay, thank you, Gene. Do we have any questions for Gene before we open the public hearing? If not, this time I'll open the public hearing on item 4A. Anyone wishing to speak for or against item 4A can step forward at this time. Does not appear we have anyone. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Motion from Karen, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alvin to close the public hearing on item 4A. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the public hearing is closed. Do we have any final comments on this one? And if not, do we have a motion to recommend approval?
So moved.
Motion from
Second.
Bill, second from Karen, to recommend approval of item 4A. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item 5 is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Karen?
Second.
Second from Alvin to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.